2024 construction season looks to be busy as normal. You know, starting some of our ARPA projects and some extra federal money that we received in the last year and a half. So first off, just go through this. We're going to go over some of the projects we completed last year real quick. Go over a little bit more in depth on, you know, some of the projects we have coming up this summer. And then also kind of a special topic I'll touch on briefly is Saginaw countywide road millage that will be coming for the August primary. So first slide here, just wanted to cover, we had 2 road reconstruction projects last year that we had completed. That would be Mackinac Street from Congress to Alexander. That was our federal aid project through MDOT. We also did a local street reconstruction of Meredith from Washington to the east. If you know, that's right in front of MMR. And as part of that, we actually closed off that railroad crossing there as well, which I believe we got about $125,000 to complete that railroad crossing closure. We did a mill and resurface project in downtown streets here. We did Jefferson and Warren from Genesee to Fitzhugh, and then also did about 4 blocks of Tuscola Street from Baum to Roosevelt Austin. You know, we tried to do that in the downtown area, especially with we have all these nice hockey players and families coming into town. Tried to get that, you know, downtown looking nice. We've got a lot of other projects this summer to try to get sidewalks where they're safe, you know, get rid of trip hazards and that kind of thing as well. For the incoming people. We had 2 bridge projects as well. Johnson Street Bridge, we did some deck patches and did an epoxy overlay on that. We also finished up the Genesee Avenue Bridge with the epoxy overlay as well. Most of that job was completed in 2022, just did some finish up work last summer. You guys have seen this slide before. I won't go over it, just kind of lists out some of the project selections that, you know, factors that we look at, road ratings, things of that nature. So I'll skip over this unless you got any questions. Just wanted to touch on this right now. We do PASER ratings every year. It's a 1 to 10 rating scale of city streets. And we've been trying to rate our roads every year. So this kind of shows a little bit of a bleak picture. Our major streets, you know, about 50% are in poor condition, which, you know, most of the time that means they need to be reconstructed, which is an expensive fix. You get into the fair range where you might be able to save that road before it becomes a poor condition. And then you have the good range, which are brand new within the last couple of years. I will say, I don't have the slide from last year, but within the last year, we did reduce our poor roads on major streets down from about 60% to 56%. And that's, you know, we're trying to do some mill and resurfaces for smaller dollar amounts to try to increase the ratings on the roads. Unfortunately, the local streets continue to deteriorate. Just there's a lack of funding there, and we try to do the best we can with what we have. So talk about this year's construction. Here's the 2024 mill and resurface is an annual project. We try to do one every summer. This year, our goal is to do a 3x4 block radius, or by section, excuse me, between Court and Michigan in that whole area, north of Court and west of Michigan. So that includes roads like Webster, Harrison, Fayette, Hancock, Ames, Cleveland, Madison. Our goal is to do that entire neighborhood. There is a big mixture of major and local streets. So we've got some extra money we put into the local street budget for fiscal year 25. Upon budget approval, hopefully we can get that project. And as part of that, we're gonna do about, I think it was 140 ADA ramps as well. And that'll push us forward, you know, trying to get ramps at every intersection in the city. Just to go back, we're looking at starting that in June with a completion around Labor Day, just FYI. Next project is 17th Street reconstruction. This is a federal aid job. We got some extra money last year that I talked about at the presentation last year, and now that extra money is actually coming to fruition. We're actually starting construction on these. So this also has $300,000 worth of CDBG money on it. I believe that's the fiscal year 23. This reconstruction is from Walnut to Janes. Will include a full road, brand new water main, doing catch basins at every intersection, new driveways, so on and so forth. This project looks like it will be starting Monday next week, and with a completion date of before Labor Day. Next one is Jefferson Avenue reconstruction from Hoyt to Janes. This is in the historic district over there. This is full reconstruct as well. Also one of the projects we were able to utilize extra federal funding on. That project did start a couple weeks ago on April 1st, which moved the construction schedule up a little bit. So we're hoping to have that done by the beginning of August. And we've been working, we were trying to work around the Jazz on Jefferson, because this is the location where that's at, and we're trying to work through that, and I think they made the decision to postpone that until next year. I did tell Mr. Trombley, I believe it is, that we could probably push it, if he could push it till later in August, we could probably do it, but I think, you know, they're just gonna push that till next year. But, so that's one of our federal aid projects as well. Another one we had is Sheridan Avenue. This project's been going on for about a month now. This is a crush and shape from Trainer, which is the city limits to the south, all the way up to Hess. And so as part of this project, it is currently 4 lanes. Once this project is done, it'll be converted to 3 lanes with a center left turn lane, the whole stretch, and bike lanes on either side of the road. And along with this, we're doing full water main for that half a mile as well. This kind of leads into a Hess reconstruction project next summer, which we're going to be doing from Jefferson Avenue all the way to Sheridan, and that will have bike lanes on either side of the road as well. So we're trying to get some connection from the southern city limits over to the Wicks Park Trail, which is just under the Center Street Bridge from this location, also known as Hess and Gallagher area. So Symphony Lane, you know, we started this project last summer. Excuse me. This is a Memorial Cup Legacy project. Also part of the MEDC grant that was received from the state is going towards this project. I believe about $750,000 worth. We are currently working on that. The road is in, curb and gutter is done, all the water mains in. The street lights actually were going up this afternoon when Mr. Carwatt and myself were out there. We got full approvals from MDOT for the underbridge lighting on the Henry Marsh Bridge there. We were waiting for those materials to come in to hopefully be installed by the ribbon cutting, which the Visitors Bureau is hosting on May 21st from 5:30 to 8:30. That'll be an unveiling of the statue that's supposed to be out in front of the Dow, as well as a ribbon cutting on the mural on the Henry Marsh Bridge, the underbridge lighting, and also the Symphony and Henry Marsh Plaza. So that's kind of a cool project, you know, we don't get to do very often, and so it'll be really nice when it's done. It's hard to get the vision until you start seeing the dirt move out of the way and start actually pouring some concrete, but it's coming along. We're hoping to have that done within the next couple weeks prior to the Memorial Cup to kind of make it a food truck alley and gathering spot for that tournament. Our other CDBG project from fiscal year 24 funding, this was, I think, on my presentation last year as well. We did not start that in the fall. Had a lack of availability of our staff as well as contractor. So we agreed together to push it till the spring. We did start this April 1st, and so I think we're looking at a completion by 4th of July. This is 3rd from Janes to Lapeer, 10th Street from Janes to Tuscola, and that will include many intersections of ramps along 3rd and 10th, as well as Burt, Cherry, and Janes. So that is our 2024 CDBG project and also our 2023 CDBG ramp project. Sorry, long-winded. Later on down in the fall, we're probably starting in July or August, we'll be doing some preventative work on the Center Street Bridge. A couple years ago, we did a larger project doing deck patches and things like that. We do have some additional sidewalk patches to do, some railing repairs, do have some beam end repairs under the bridge to make as well. And then we will be covering the sidewalks with an epoxy overlay to kind of waterproof that bridge and the deck. Kind of a unique one for us. This will be our first time, but we are moving towards converting all of our one-way pairs to two-way streets. And so we are starting with 5th and 6th. This did get approved through our traffic committee. We have a public meeting scheduled here at Council Chambers on May 9th at 4:30. And we have invited that Northeast Neighborhood Group to come as well. This will be a learning process for citizens, for us, for everybody. We're gonna work through it the best we can, but we're looking at going to council for approval for that conversion as well coming up. And Once we do that, we'll bid out the project, and we'll have probably about 10 public press releases to try to notify as we're starting to change over this. This is just one, the first of many. As you know, our population has been cut in half over the last 30, 40 years. They're just not needed anymore. Conversion to two-way increases safety, decreases speeds. There's just a lot of benefits to converting to two-way streets. So this is the first one we're going to be doing this summer. Just wanted to show this slide real quick. We're almost a 50-50 split between non-city funds and city funds. And now that's just on the projects that I had just presented on quickly. So the non-city funds includes anything from federal money to CDBG money to the MEDC grant. So we try to spread the dollar as much as we can and try to get as much grant funding and state funding as we can. And if we weren't able to attain that, we would only be doing half of this with our own funds. And that's just, we work really hard to try to get funding for the city and utilize that correctly. Some of the other projects I'll touch on real quick. We've got the Riverfront Gateway. This is an ARPA project. We are almost done. The path is in, the decorative fencing is all in. We have ADA accessible picnic tables. The sunshade sails, I can't say that 5 times fast. Those were just installed last week. Those are really big. It's hard to see in this picture, but you can see one of the poles right in the middle there. Doesn't have the shade on it yet, but this is a cool project. I know it's something the Riverfront Development Committee has been wanting to do for a long time. ARPA dollars made it happen. Everything's done except for some of the landscaping, and we're working on that to try to get everything wrapped up and ready for the tournament as well. So we're getting close. Another project that we just got started today actually is Hoyt Park pavement improvements. So this will be a crush and shape of the lower drive all the way from the zoo parking lot up around the curve to the north end. I think it's half a mile or 3/4 of a mile, something like that. It's a pretty long stretch. This will include pavement improvements, a 10-foot wide gravel shoulder for parking for baseball tournaments and such. We'll also have some drainage improvements to hopefully get that water out of there and stop deteriorating the road. This is funded with general fund, and then I believe Friends of Hoyt Park is making up the overruns. This was at our last meeting, council meeting, for approval for that. So we just started that today, probably be crushing the road on Wednesday. Looking at a May 17th completion, which is also my birthday, so that'd be a good birthday present to get this done before Memorial Cup. And this is a water sewer road patch restoration. I won't touch on this very long. This is a continuation from last year. We probably will have a project every year for the next couple with the lead service line replacements and identifications that our water shop has to do to meet Eagle standards. They are moving faster than we can repair the roads. So we'll continue to have these patch projects. Right now, we're kind of on the west side, closer to the hospital, and then also Consumers is in here ripping up roads and replacing gas mains and services as well in the Adams Boulevard, Court Street area. But more to come on this. I think what we're going to try to do is come back to council for approval for additional funds to this existing contract. The contractor is willing to hold their prices, so that's something we're looking at. And with the cost of concrete going up, that's a great thing to have hold on prices. Last but not least, Saginaw Countywide Road Millage. So details as of now it is on the August 6th primary. This will include all cities, villages, townships, road commission. Every dollar that's paid through the citizens of the city stays in the city. And with that estimate, it's just over $1 million. It is 2 mills for 6 years. And, I have a taxable value estimate here. If your home SEV is $25,000, it'll be about $50 a year. Just wanted to show with this $1 million amount, as it sits right now, we usually have around $300,000 to $350,000 available every year just for projects on local streets. And so this, if passed, would triple or quadruple our current budget for local road resurfacing, reconstructions, crack seals, that kind of thing. this wouldn't be towards legacy costs, nothing for plowing. This is true, you know, pavement on the ground. So can't touch a whole lot on it. We're not allowed to have a stance and everything. Just wanted to provide a little bit of background info for this. There will be, I believe, representatives from the Friends of Saginaw County Road Millage that will be coming to the council as well to talk about this. There will be plenty of, you know, info pamphlets and everything being handed out. I just wanted to kind of give a real quick, brief update, you know, where we're at with that and give everyone kind of a heads up if you had not heard yet. Other than that, I will not go through these, but we have a slew of projects for next summer as well as the following summers after that. We have a lot of ARPA projects starting next year, and we also have a lot of grant funding. Just some of the big ones is we're doing a full mile reconstruct of Wheeler. That's about a $5.5 million project, which is really large for the city. That Hess Avenue reconstruction that I talked about, converting that, as part of that project, we will be converting that from a one-way to a two-way as well. And that will include the entire stretches of Hess and Gallagher. And then kind of the cool one we've been talking about for a couple of years now is Adams and Cass reconstruction. Cass will be going back as a brick road. We got a TAP grant for that about a year and a half ago. So when we start construction April or May of next year, that will be going back as brick. It will not be the existing Saginaw brick. We did not have enough to salvage and put back. The condition was not ideal, but it'll be going back as brand new brick road. So we're kind of coordinating with some of the site plans that are going on in the area to try to get their utilities in the ground before our project so that we don't rip up our brand new brick road within the first year. Other than that, we will have the Court Street Bridge project next summer as well. Just to give a heads up to everybody, that will be closed for about 4 or 5 months for a project. So Court Street Bridge from mid-April until probably close to Labor Day. So I think that'll make the Old Town people happy, so cars will stop speeding through Court. But there will be a lot going on in Old Town next summer.